morning, my lovely rainbows. Why don't you find a place to sit, take your magic with you, and crisscross applesauce. I have the chime, and remember, we're going to breathe in through our nose and out through our mouth. We'll start with a deep breath, and then we'll listen to the chime. When it stops, we can open our eyes, and then we will begin. Are you ready? Crisscross applesauce. Rest your eyes. 1, 2, 3. Okay, before I read a story, I'd like to do a little finger play, and this might help you guess what story I'm going to read. Are you ready? This little piggy went to market. This little piggy stayed home. This little piggy had roast beef, and this little piggy had none. And this little piggy cried, wee, 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 all the way home. And if you guessed the 3 little pigs, you're right. And before I read this story to you, I'd like to tell you something about my dad, who I love very much. He was an architect, and an architect is somebody who designs buildings. And my dad, he designed medical buildings. That was his specialty. And in this story, it's a little different than the 3 little pigs that we all know and love. It's called The 3 Little Pigs by Stephen Guarnica and Corini Editor. I don't know if I'm saying their names right, but here you see on the 1, 2, 3 pigs, and all these piggies here on the cover are architects. So they're going to design their building in this story. Let's start at the beginning. So this story is retold. It's not the original one, but it's a little different. And we can, when we tell stories, we can make up new ones too. Got your listening ears on? Good. Once upon a time, there were 3 little pigs who lived in a big house in the forest. One day, the 3 pigs said goodbye to their mother. And there she is. She's waving by, and they're waving by. And went off to make their way in the world. So it's time for them to move. Let's see what they do. Well, the first little pig decided to build his house out of scraps. And sometimes we can think of scraps as being recycled material. Well, the second little pig decided to build his house of glass. Ooh. What happens when you drop a glass? You got to be careful because it can break, right? So it's fragile. But the third little pig decided to build his house of stone and concrete. Now, there was an evil wolf who lived in the woods nearby. One day, he came to the house of the first little pig and said, little pig, let me come in." But the pig answered, "Oh, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." And evil is another word for bad. So we'll call him the bad wolf. Well, you know what? This made the wolf so angry that he said, Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. The wolf huffed and puffed, and he blew the house of Scraps away. The first little pig ran as fast as he could to the house of his brother. So there he goes. See him? He's running to his brother's house, the second little pig. Well, soon the wolf came to the house of the second little pig. The wolf called out, little pig, let me come in." And the second pig answered, "Ah, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." Well, the wolf gnashed his teeth and said, "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." And the wolf huffed and he puffed and he blew the house of glass to smithereens. Oh no! So the two little pigs ran as fast as their legs could take them to the house of their brother. And there you can see they are running up the hill so fast. Finally, the wolf arrived at the house of the third little pig. The wolf growled at the door. Little pig, let me come in." But the third little pig replied, "Ha, ha, not by the hair on my chinny chin chin." You see the pigs up on the top of the house there? They're looking out the window. You think the pigs are safe up there? We'll see what happens. This enraged, that's very, 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 very angry, the evil wolf, who roared, "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." So he huffed and he puffed and he huffed and he puffed and he puffed and he huffed, but he couldn't budge the house of stone and concrete. The wolf said, "Little pig, meet me tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock at Farmer Wright's, and I'll show you a fine field of tomatoes." But guess what? The pig woke up at 6, picked the best tomatoes in the greenhouse, and was home slicing them for lunch by the time the wolf arrived. "Oh, I'll get you yet," said the wolf under his breath. He must have been very angry about that. Probably thought he could have some pig. The wolf returned to the third pig's house and said, little pig, meet me tomorrow at 6 at Farmer Johnson's, and I'll show you an orchard full of tasty apples." The next morning at 5, the pig was picking the best apple in Farmer Johnson's orchard when along came the wolf. "Oh, good, aren't they?" asked the wolf. "They certainly are," said the pig. "Here, try one." As the wolf chased it, the third pig ran home to his house of stone and concrete. The wolf thinks he's tricky, but I think the pig is a little trickier, huh? Well, that evening, the wolf went back to the third little pig's house and said, "I'll meet you at the market tomorrow morning at 5. So the pig arrived at 4. He was admiring a fine rug. When he saw the wolf approaching, he hid himself in the rug and rolled down the hill toward the wolf. The wolf sped away with the rug following after him. The third pig returned home, where he and his brothers prepared a roaring fire in the fireplace, and they settled in for the evening. Tricked again, the wolf rushed to the third pig's house, saying under his breath, "Little pig, I'll get you yet." Well, the wolf climbed down onto the roof. Oh, he climbed onto the roof, excuse me. The wolf climbed onto the roof and shouted down the chimney, I'm coming to get you." But the wolf tumbled into the roaring fire, scorching his tail. Ouch! That must have really hurt. He ran from the house, smoke steaming after him, and he was never seen in the forest again. The three little pigs ate a supper of tomato soup and apple pie, and they lived happily ever after. And that's the end. I hope you enjoyed the story, and I hope you have a great day. Love you, and hopefully we'll see each other soon. Bye.